again, everyone. This is Merideth Nagel, and thanks for listening and watching our latest edition of Homeschool for Realtors. Today, we're going to talk about what is a lien. And I get this question a lot when people talk about liens that might be on their property. So I thought I'd give you some information that could be helpful. So first of all, of course, the main thing that we see most frequently is the mortgage. That is the document that the borrower signs at closing that gives the bank permission to take the house back if he doesn't pay his payments. Now, many times people will say, I'm paying my mortgage. That's actually not true. They're paying their note, but it's the mortgage is the name of that lien, that document that allows the bank to take the property back if you don't make those payments. So we see those frequently. So everyone knows about that. You can also have a lien on your property if, for example, you're sued by a credit card company. Say Visa, you owe them $5,000. You really don't pay that much attention to the lawsuit because you don't have the money to pay them anyway. Unfortunately, if they go ahead and get that judgment, they're going to record that. And when they do, it's a lien against all the property that you own in every county where the judgment is recorded. So those kinds of things can serve as a lien. Many of you who've been practicing real estate for a while remember the days back before we did what's commonly called a lien search, and which is now provided for in the standard contracts. Well, the reason we perform those lien searches is because cities and counties and some other regulatory groups can have a lien against your property and not have that lien recorded. And so for that reason, it could pass on to the new buyer and they could potentially be foreclosed upon. So as part of the closing process now, we do those lien searches to see if we can find out and make sure there's not any unrecorded liens. Another thing that can operate as a lien, if you had a criminal conviction and you didn't pay all of your court costs or your restitution, unpaid child support, these are the kind of things that we see most often operating as a lien. Of course, the IRS, if you don't pay your taxes, they can also have a lien. So the good news, though, is with few exceptions, we can get almost all those liens done away with as to your homestead. So in other words, you can sell your homestead without having to pay those liens off by doing a statutory procedure, something that's authorized by our Florida statutes, in which the lawyer files a piece of paper with the courthouse that says, I'm about to sell my homestead. It's my homestead. Therefore, the Florida Constitution says you can't make me pay you off. We can't make me pay these judgments from my homestead. Oh, and by the way, you have 45 days to contest. Now, I have filed many of these over my career, and I've never once had it contested because the law is so clear that if it is, in fact, your homestead that you're selling, with few exceptions, and of course the mortgage is the one that immediately comes to mind, those liens do not have to be paid off. Another way that we can avoid a lien is if a husband and wife own a piece of property as husband and wife, which is tenants by the entireties, any judgment against one of them individually does not attach to property that they own together. So let me give you a concrete example. Let us suppose that Harry husband has a card with Visa, and Visa gets a judgment against Harry husband for $5,000. But Harry husband and Sally wife own a piece of property together, and it says on their deed that they're husband and wife. Well, guess what? That judgment against Harry husband does not attach to the property that they own together. That's because we have a legal fiction in Florida. Maybe it's a fiction, maybe it's true, but we call it a legal fiction that when two people are married, they actually become one. It comes from the old Genesis story that we're all so familiar with. So because you're considered one, the property is 100% the wife's at the same time as it's 100% the husband's. So a judgment against either one of them individually could never attach to a piece of property that they own together as husband and wife. We are going to do another video at a later time about the importance of taking title as husband and wife. But if you have any questions about this tenancy by the entirety, the husband and wife, or anything else that I've talked about during this video, I hope that you'll give me a call. I can be reached at 352-394-7408. We would be very glad to answer any questions that you might have. There'll be no cost for that, whether it's closing here or not. You know, we just want to be helpful and help you have the best and most successful real estate practice that you can. So you guys, go kill it. Happy selling, and thanks for listening. And don't forget to give me a call if you need me.